Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. Yes, it's bright and early, very early out here in Phoenix. So 5 a.m.
So I'd love to start by having you introduce yourself. Your bio is so impressive. In addition to your doctorate in education, you have so many yoga trainings, including
Yes.
Prism Yoga Project, trauma-informed yoga. There's so much. I thought it'd be if you could just introduce yourself and share with us.
Yes, thank you so much. Well, my name is Dr. Donna Jagielski, and I'm the founder and CEO of Blessings Balance Breath Yoga, and we're a nonprofit organization. And our mission is to serve all the underrepresented, underserved, marginalized populations, especially justice impacted youth and women. And I come from a background of education. I spent about 22 years in public education, K through 12. Yes, mainly started out in Chicago. And
Mhm.
for the most part, the schools that I worked in, the students that I served, actually came from backgrounds that many times their family members were incarcerated. And
Yeah.
I just witnessed the
Mm,
impact that it had on our youth, the
mm,
intergenerational trauma. And I saw that it's just spilled over into so many
mm,
aspects of their lives. I mean, where they were coming to school basically to have basic needs met. Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
mm,
Where I mean, besides anything teaching wise, before we could get to anything,
mm,
instructionally, it was providing a safe place for them to sleep. I mean, I remember teaching a third grader to
mm.
to learn how to brush his teeth because he wasn't getting that at home.
Wow.
So I really wanted to kind of focus my energies,
Mm,
not only just educationally, but
mm,
to bridge like education and wellness, but to find a way of having those basic fundamental needs met, because
mm,
quite honestly, it's exactly that Maslow's hierarchy of needs, that
mm,
if we don't feel safe and secure, if our
mm.
basic needs of sleep, of rest, of safety, of food are not being met, we can't do anything else,
Yeah.
you know so yeah.
Wow. Wow, that's so huge and so impressive. So, do you teach anymore? Are you exclusively doing yoga?
Yes. So my background now,
Mm,
since I earned my, master's in
mm,
teaching, my doctorate in education, all my yoga certifications,
mm.
500 hour. I'm working on completing my yoga therapy certification
Yeah.
now, everything. I actually still do teach. I work as an
Mm.
adjunct at Grand Canyon University. I work with teaching undergraduates, undergrad,
Mm,
elementary education majors. And then my full-time work, which
mm,
is a health and wellness teacher
mm,
in a behavioral health organization,
mm.
which serves mainly the main population is reentry of adults coming out of incarceration, substance use, everything like that, and then everything with the nonprofit. So it all pairs really, really well. Everything that I've done in life.
That's so amazing. And do you see, I mean, to be able to witness the change within the community and I mean, you're a firsthand witness to all this, like front row seat.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I have just witnessed the growth,
Mm,
and the growth happens because there's a need. There is a need.
mm,
Just for example, with our juvenile program,
mm,
we lead the yoga program at the
mm,
Maricopa County, out here in the county,
mm,
juvenile detention center. And we
mm,
started this program a little over 4 years ago,
mm,
just when we were coming out of the pandemic and everything.
mm,
And it was the summer of 2021. And we started the program with one girls unit with
mm.
approximately 8 girls.
Right.
And, maybe once a month. And now we're in the detention center. Sometimes it's like they want us to come in once a week. And it's just like, whoa, we're stretching it really thin.
Right.
But we are serving 3 units.
Yeah.
And most typically 2 boys units, 1 girls units. And on any given one of the Sundays when we're there,
Mm.
we're impacting approximately 45 youths. Yeah, over those 3 units. So, yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. How did you personally get involved in yoga? Do you remember what first drew you to the
Oh,
practice?
absolutely. I actually come from, a background that
Mm,
separate and apart from all of my accomplishments,
mm,
educationally, professionally, academia, everything like that. But a lot struggling with
mm,
depression and anxiety.
mm,
And much of it stemmed from my childhood, which
mm.
I've come to terms with now. A lot of
Yeah.
therapy, a lot of reconciliation, because I had just a polar opposite
Mm,
childhood, where in one parent that was completely like the anchor, the rock, I mean,
yeah.
that all things normal, quote unquote. And then another parent who, my mom, I mean, bless her heart, she was doing the best she could. I mean,
Yeah.
she had, I mean, those were the tools that she had been given, and
Yeah.
that was it, but it was very, very polar opposite. So I was constantly bounced on one side or the other. So I struggled for a long, long time with depression, anxiety, and many, many times the only 2 areas where I found some sort of like relief from it
Mm,
was on my yoga mat and my
mm,
faith. In those
mm.
two, and many times, and later on I found ways of blending those two, which was just
Yeah.
absolutely amazing,
Yeah.
but there were a lot of times I was just very, very blessed with the yoga teachers that I was practicing with when I was in my
Mm,
early 20s, that well before we ever heard of trauma, trauma informed practice,
mm.
trauma sensitive practice, where I would just be laying on my mat and all I would
Mhm.
do was just lay there for the hour, and
Yeah.
sometimes just cry and curled up in the fetal position and
Yeah.
everything like that. But it was a safe space. So
Yeah.
I was able to really recognize so
Mm,
much of this, because simply trauma is trauma. It
mm,
doesn't matter. Trauma
mm,
is just trauma. So when I walked into the school system and I
mm,
would see these students that they
mm.
couldn't concentrate, they couldn't focus, they
Yeah.
couldn't take a test because their mind was somewhere else, I'm like, give them this safe space. It
Yeah.
starts in that first, in that
Yeah.
safe space.
It's so beautiful. Did you find any resistance at all from the education system for you to integrate this into the curriculum or into the school? Were they instantly accepting, or did you have to convince them a little bit?
Right. Well, that's a great question,
Mm,
because we have come a long way
mm,
in our school system with integrating yoga.
mm,
Because some years back, really, I mean, like when I started in education, there was not really any awareness. There was a lack of a
yeah.
lack of information,
Yeah.
misunderstanding, and most of it stemmed from a lot of the schools did not want yoga practice, any
Mm,
kind of mindfulness,
mm.
because they saw it instantaneously as a religion. And
Yeah.
they're like, okay,
Yeah.
it's public schools. We've got to have separation of,
Mm-hmm.
really. And so, again, and this is
Mm,
why I'm just so blessed that I have such a strong education background,
yeah.
because everything stems from education.
Yeah.
So I would sit there and have these conversations, meetings with, parent groups and
Mm,
administrators, and
mm,
really educating them
mm,
on what yoga is really about.
mm,
And then some years back it actually started in some of the southern states,
mm.
where we broke through that barrier, and they're like, wow, they're starting to like recognize
Yeah.
the benefits of yoga and the practice of mindfulness, and where it really came to that aha moment, because
Yeah.
understandably, a lot of school systems, they have to have very tangible evidence,
Right.
quantitative data.
Right.
And they started seeing the difference in test scores and grades, where students were able to focus and
Yeah.
concentrate. And once they saw that and had that data, they're like,
Yeah.
oh, this is great.
Yeah.
And now we're very, very blessed with that, teachers in the elementary level, they have, quiet corners, and where
Mm,
students now are just, on their own,
yeah.
going into these spaces in the corner of the classroom to, de-escalate and
Mm.
regulate their emotions
Mhm.
and everything. And it's no longer where teachers are giving a time out,
Yeah.
rather it's
Right.
time in.
I
And it's
love
beautiful. It's beautiful to see this change now.
And I love it because when you said quiet corner, my first thought was a punishment, right? But it's not a punishment. It's an
Oh,
opportunity, right? And it's opportunity
right.
to recenter and just reflect on everything. I wish I had had that when I was in school. We didn't
Oh,
have
yeah,
any, I look at kids today and I'm like, you're so lucky that you have these opportunities. We didn't have them when we were in school. So I love that this
exactly.
is becoming.
Same here.
Do any of the teachers ever join? Because obviously, if teachers are a part of it,
Yes.
it's even more
Oh,
impactful.
yes, yes. I was really blessed that before I left the school system, I was able to lead yoga classes and an entire program
Mhm.
for the teachers,
Mhm.
for the educator, for the
Mhm.
teachers and the administrators.
Yeah.
After school, it was like,
Yeah.
4:30 in the afternoon and everything,
Yeah.
because I would tell them that so much of that theory of put your own oxygen mask on first,
Mhm.
that it starts with you, that
Mhm.
if you are stressed out, if you are overwhelmed, if your mind is all scattered, you can't provide the care,
Yeah.
all the support for your staff as an administrator, as a principal. If you're a teacher, you can't provide that for your students, your
Yeah.
family. You're stretched so thin. So it starts with you, giving you this opportunity. And oh, I would have an amazing turnout. I was,
Good.
providing those classes weekly,
Yeah.
for the teachers and, like I said, the administrators as well.
Yeah, I mean, educators are, I feel like they're very undervalued in our society, and
Yes.
taking care of them any way that we can take care of them is so, and it just ripples out, right? It's
Yes.
exactly that. Once they're taken care of and the students are taken care of, everything gets better. So I
Right.
love that you're doing this in the community. You had
Exactly.
mentioned earlier on, and I don't know if you're comfortable talking about it, but your faith and yoga as well. Was
Yes.
there any uh, did you have to come to terms with it? Was it an easy thing for you to balance yourself or?
Right. For a while when I was first practicing, I didn't see the connection,
Mm,
especially because yoga coming from an Eastern philosophy and
yeah.
everything, and I'm Christian.
Hmm.
And but I just always kind of felt in the back of my mind that there
Mm,
was it was just a very, very common, connection and
yeah.
everything like that. And it wasn't until I started working on my very first yoga certification, and
Mm,
it was just my initial, before my 200 hour. I earned a 100 hour, and I don't even know how I found out about it, but it must have been the stars were aligned,
hmm.
everything. God pointed me, in the
Yeah.
direction. And I found a school out here in
Hmm.
Arizona called Yahweh Yoga.
Mm.
And it was exactly that, all Christ centered yoga. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is
Yeah.
amazing. And
Yeah.
that's what really, really inspired me to say, that's it. I'm moving forward with my 200 hour and then my
Yeah.
300 hour and everything like that. And it was amazing to just see it when you see it all laid out side by
Hmm.
side, with the connections between the 8 limbs of yoga and say
Hmm.
the 10 commandments and everything, and how, just, in terms of the frame of mind, that we're not going to do any harm to
Yeah.
ourselves. We're not going to do any harm to, anyone else, all the
Right.
things that we should be doing in life and the things that we shouldn't be doing in life, and
Right.
the focus, the concentration that we have to have, meditation,
Mm.
prayer. Oh, it's
Hmm.
like perfectly connected. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I mean, I feel like this world would be so much more peaceful if we all embraced that attitude that
Yes.
you have, that it's based, there is a fundamental unity within everything, which is take care of yourself, love your neighbor, take care of the
Yes.
people around you. And it's something that I feel I wish we had more of, especially lately when you look around. But I'm glad to see because I know that there can be sometimes a little bit, maybe people have to sit with it a little bit longer
Oh, yeah.
or see if it's the right fit for them.
Right.
So I'm happy. I'm so excited to see that exists and that people are excited and embrace it.
Yes, yes. And again, it just all comes down to education. There's
Yes.
always going to
Yeah.
be groups of people that, are hesitant, that are
Yeah.
skeptical, and it comes down to a lot of education and everything like that, which again, I'm so blessed, even going
Yeah.
back to, what we were talking about with educators and everything,
Yeah.
with my work as an adjunct at Grand Canyon
Mm.
University, teaching the undergrads. So
Yeah.
they're the next ones to be going out there and in the classrooms and
Yeah.
everything, and I have made it a point to provide time where I
Mm.
give them a Wellness Wednesday, whether I'm
Mm.
teaching online or in person, as far as how they can take care of themselves. Because,
Mm.
like I tell them, I said, a lot of times you're out there in the field as an educator for a long period of time, and it's only
Mm.
when you're being, like becoming worn down, and you're being, you're feeling the burnout and everything that you start to implement self-care. I'm like,
Sure.
but you know what? Start from day one. And
Yeah.
now I honestly believe we're going to have less attrition
Mm.
in the
Mm.
profession of educators, everything. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I was looking at your impressive bio and all the work that you've done, and you've received multiple grants and you've had a lot of great success. What is your hope for your program that you've created? What does the future look like for what you're working with?
Yes. I say, just expanding the
Mm.
reach, educating people on just the the importance of yoga, the
Mm.
importance of self-care and wellness. And also that, it's a perfect integration of whatever faith. It's whether you're Christian, anything. I
Yeah.
mean, because we're all coming from, like you mentioned, that foundation
Mm.
of love,
Mm.
loving one another without judgment. That's
Mm.
why, when we provide our programs to justice impacted,
Mm.
youth, women, as well as men. We go into the prisons, Perryville
Mm.
prison, out here, the detention center, and anyone that contacts us.
Mm.
I just recently had a communication with a woman that her son is serving a very long term sentence.
Oh.
And it does not matter. It
Yeah.
does not matter. We never turn anyone away
Mm.
because we always feel it, I mean, we put ourselves in those shoes.
Right.
Imagine that if it was one of our family members or
Mm.
anything like that. So that's why it's like, nope. I mean, we embrace everyone.
Yeah.
So just a lot of expansion and a
Mm.
lot of development of partnerships and collaborations with
Mm.
other nonprofits. That's
Mm.
our big focus this year as part of
Mm.
like our, strategic plan and everything.
Mm.
For example,
Mm.
we've got an event coming up next Saturday that's called
Mm.
Pup Up Yoga. And it's
Oh.
bring your dog to yoga. And
Oh.
it's not only for
Yeah.
that experience of like
Mm.
bonding with your dog, but
Yeah.
there's so much that animals can teach us about,
Mm.
just joy. I mean,
Yeah.
they get a treat, they're joyful. They go and take a pee pee, they're joyful. Everything. They're always happy to
Yeah.
see you, and there's so much that we can learn from that.
Yeah.
And the fluidity that
Mm.
1 second the dog's over here, 1 second dog's over here, maybe not what you intended, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So there's so much to be learned, but
Yeah.
a portion of our proceeds is
Mm.
going to an organization that not only does dog, rescues and everything like that, but they provide a program
Mm.
in one of our men's prisons out here
Mm.
at Lewis Prison,
Yeah.
that where the men not only work with the dogs on training,
Oh.
but now in turn the
Yeah.
men understand, develop that rapport with the
Yeah.
dog to develop that compassion and empathy and
Yeah.
everything like that. So we're working with other organizations that are youth organizations that
Yeah.
serve a lot of youth that are underserved, and we're sharing in the proceeds so that
Yeah.
again, that benefits other organizations, other nonprofits that are serving very similar missions.
Yeah.
Same with us. We're building a partnership. I mean, the bottom line is we're stronger together. We're
Yeah.
stronger together.
I love it, and I love. It's so beautiful to hear this messaging. I feel like I was thirsting for it today, so I'm so happy we got to chat this morning. Is there one story or one person or one moment that really stands out in all your teachings and all the time that you spent that just really it just it just really changed everything about you, just like a person or a moment that you were just like, wow.
Yeah, there've been a lot, a
Yeah,
lot.
I'm sure.
But yeah, but I think something that comes to mind right now, like I mentioned, that we've just started working on with a gentleman that's serving a long-term sentence and
Mm,
working with his mom, and we're doing a mentoring program,
mm,
with him. And I think what comes to my mind is it's really sad when
mm,
we take a look around that so many people in society
mm,
have given up on so many people in society,
mm, mm,
and we all make a difference.
mm,
And when I worked in the education department at Perryville for
mm,
some time, and I met a woman who was serving a lifetime sentence, a life sentence,
mm,
and it was incredible as far as how much of a positive impact she had on
mm,
so many women that were coming through serving their sentence
mm,
and coming back and re-entering
mm,
into society.
mm,
And that, it's so sad that, like I said, people in our society will give up on people. But then on
mm.
top of it, they'll give up on people that are never coming out of prison,
Right,
thinking, well, they're in there forever and everything,
right.
and never thinking about they are making such an impact
Mm,
because of that consistency of being
mm,
in there from so much of that time to just reflect and think and to know
mm,
that they're going to make an impact on so many lives of people coming back into society and re-entering.
mm,
So, yeah, I mean, it's just when we think about every one of us
mm,
has our gifts, has an impact that
mm,
without any one of us and our experiences, we wouldn't make the positive difference that we do. Every one of us
mm.
makes a positive impact.
Oh, I need to start every morning like this.
Oh, that's great. That's
I
great.
just, I love talking with you. Thank you so much for sharing such beautiful reminders and joy. And I mean, honestly, and love, I think we forget these basic, I mean, I can't speak for, I forget basic things. And this practice and meeting this community, it just reminds me every day. And thank you so much for being that reminder for me
Oh,
personally today. And,
you're welcome. And
you
that's
know,
why exactly we love your magazine. Oh my
thank
goodness.
you.
We
Thank you.
love Yoga Love because it is.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
sometimes like I said, we just need those moments where we just love
yeah,
on one another.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
so impactful.
And the theme of our next issue, which you are a supporter of, and your community support, is community.
Yeah,
And this is the thing: we're individuals, part of a whole, right? So we need to remember
exactly.
that and be kind to each other, and just take care of each other.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for being a part of our community, and please let us know. We're excited to send magazines and support everything that
Yes.
you're doing. Uh, every day. And how can people find you? Are you online? You have online
Yes.
classes? Okay.
Yes. Well, we have our website, Blessings Balance Breath Yoga. .com. And then, of course, social media. We are Blessings Balance Breath Yoga here on Instagram,
Mhm.
on Facebook, and also on LinkedIn.
Amazing, amazing. And we will share this as well with our community. We'll share it in our newsletter. And if people want to
Great.
get in touch with you, please, please, please get in touch if you're in Arizona and you're online. So anywhere in the
Yes.
world, you can
Oh,
basically access.
absolutely. Yes.
Thank you so much. How do I pronounce your last name? Dr.
It's Jagelski.
Jagielski. Dr.
Yes.
Jagielski. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Have a
Thank you. You
beautiful
are welcome.
day. Take care.
Okay. Yes. Namaste. Thank you.